31 said on the right. But there I feel like it's more like 27, 28.
That's the complicated.
I know. Its face on the podium will be 31. But walking towards us will be more 28. 27.
Bonsoir. Good evening. Today, the United States informed us they will be imposing 25% tariffs on Canadian exports to the United States and 10% on Canadian energy. A decision that, should they elect to proceed with, should take effect on Tuesday, February 4th. Cette décision met en péril une relation économique historique. Une relation qui a été la source de tellement de richesse, de prospérité et de possibilités des deux côtés de la frontière. Tonight, first, I want to speak directly to Americans, our closest friends and neighbors. This is a choice that, yes, will harm Canadians, but beyond that, it will have real consequences for you, the American people. As I have consistently said, tariffs against Canada will put your jobs at risk, potentially shutting down American auto assembly plants and other manufacturing facilities. They will raise costs for you, including food at the grocery stores and gas at the pump. They will impede your access to an affordable supply of vital goods crucial for U.S. security, such as nickel, potash, uranium, steel, and aluminum. They will violate the free trade agreement that the President and I, along with our Mexican partner, negotiated and signed a few years ago. But it doesn't have to be this way. As President John F. Kennedy said many years ago, geography has made us neighbors, history has made us friends, economics has made us partners, and necessity has made us allies. That rang true for many decades prior to President Kennedy's time in office and in the decades since. From the beaches of Normandy to the mountains of the Korean Peninsula, from the fields of Flanders to the streets of Kandahar, we have fought and died alongside you. During your darkest hours, during the Iranian hostage crisis, those 444 days we worked around the clock from our embassy to get your innocent compatriots home. During the summer of 2005, when Hurricane Katrina ravaged your great city of New Orleans, or mere weeks ago, when we sent water bombers to tackle the wildfires in California. During the day the world stood still, September 11th, 2001, when we provided refuge to stranded passengers and planes, we were always there, standing with you, grieving with you, the American people. Together, we've built the most successful economic, military, and security partnership the world has ever seen. A relationship that has been the envy of the world. Yes, we've had our differences in the past, but we've always found a way to get past them. As I've said before, if President Trump wants to usher in a new golden age for the United States, the better path is to partner with Canada, not to punish us. Canada has critical minerals, reliable and affordable energy, stable democratic institutions, shared values, and the natural resources you need. Canada has the ingredients necessary to build a booming and secure partnership for the North American economy, and we stand at the ready to work together. Let's take a moment to talk about our shared border. Our border is already safe and secure, but there's always more work to do. Less than 1% of fentanyl, less than 1% of illegal crossings into the United States come from Canada. But hearing concerns from both Canadians and Americans, including the American president himself, we're taking action. We launched a $1.3 billion border plan that is already showing results, because we too are devastated by the scourge that is fentanyl, a drug that has torn apart communities and caused so much pain and torment for countless families across Canada, just like in the United States. A drug that we too want to see wiped from the face of this earth. A drug whose traffickers must be punished. As neighbors, we must work collaboratively to fix this. Unfortunately, the actions taken today by the White House split us apart instead of bringing us together. Tonight, I am announcing Canada will be responding to the U.S. trade action with 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods. This will include immediate tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods as of Tuesday, followed by further tariffs on $125 billion worth of American products in 21 days' time to allow Canadian companies and supply chains to seek to find alternatives. Ce soir, j'annonce la réplique du Canada, des tarifs douaniers de 25% sur 155 milliards de dollars de marchandises américaines. Dès mardi, 30 milliards de dollars de produits américains vont être touchés par ces tarifs et dans 21 jours, pour donner le temps aux compagnies canadiennes de trouver des options alternatives, ce sera le cas pour 125 milliards de dollars de marchandises de plus. Like the American tariffs, our response will also be far-reaching and include everyday items such as American beer, wine, and bourbon, fruits and fruit juices, including orange juice, along with vegetables, perfume, clothing, and shoes. It'll include major consumer products like household appliances, furniture, and sports equipment, and materials like lumber and plastics, along with much, much more. And as part of our response, we are considering, with the provinces and territories, several non-tariff measures, including some relating to critical minerals, energy, procurement, and other partnerships. We will stand strong for Canada. We will stand strong to ensure our countries continue to be the best neighbors in the world. With all that said, I also want to speak directly to Canadians in this moment. I'm sure many of you are anxious, but I want you to know we are all in this together. The Canadian government, Canadian businesses, Canadian organized labor, Canadian civil society, Canada's premiers, and tens of millions of Canadians from coast to coast to coast are aligned and united. This is Team Canada at its best. Plus tôt aujourd'hui, j'ai parlé avec les premiers ministres de toutes nos provinces et territoires. On est unis et solidaires. Ils ont tous appuyé notre approche. On est aussi alignés pour faire tomber les obstacles qui freinent le commerce entre nos provinces et territoires et rendre ça plus facile pour les consommateurs de choisir des produits de chez nous. Il y a quelques minutes, je me suis entretenu avec Mme Sheinbaum, la présidente du Mexique, notre autre partenaire nord-américain, qui a lui aussi été la cible de tarifs douaniers aujourd'hui. On s'est engagé à travailler ensemble pour y faire face. Il s'agit d'une menace qui vise l'ensemble du pays et ça m'a fait chaud au cœur de voir autant de nos leaders répondre à l'appel et s'engager pour qu'aucun Canadien ne soit laissé pour compte. Notre gouvernement va être là pour les Canadiens, on va être là pour vous, mais en même temps, j'ai quelque chose à vous demander. Je vous demande d'être solidaires les uns des autres. Beaucoup d'entre nous vont être affectés par tout ça et vont vivre des moments difficiles. Je vous demande d'être là les uns pour les autres, d'être là pour vos amis, vos voisins et vos compatriotes. D'un océan à l'autre, les Canadiens sont très différents. On parle de différentes langues, on a de différentes croyances, on a de différentes opinions, de différentes idées. Mais quand on reste unis, on puise notre force dans cette différence. And now is also the time to choose Canada. There are many ways for you to do your part. It might mean checking the labels at the supermarket and picking Canadian-made products. It might mean opting for Canadian rye over Kentucky bourbon, or foregoing Florida orange juice altogether. It might mean changing your summer vacation plans to stay here in Canada and explore the many national and provincial parks, historical sites, and tourist destinations our great country has to offer. C'est le temps de choisir des produits d'ici et d'appuyer des entreprises d'ici. D'appuyer nos producteurs agricoles, nos manufacturiers, nos travailleurs, nos entrepreneurs, nos artistes. It might mean doing all of these things or finding your own way to stand up for Canada. In this moment, we must pull together because we love this country. We pride ourselves on braving the cold during the long winter months. We don't like to beat our chests, but we're always out there, waving the maple leaf loudly and proudly to celebrate an Olympic gold medal. On a notre propre identité, notre propre histoire et nos propres valeurs. Les Canadiens sont accueillants, ouverts, novateurs, ambitieux. On préfère régler nos disputes avec diplomatie, mais on est prêt à se battre quand c'est nécessaire. Canada is home to bountiful resources, breathtaking beauty, and a proud people who've come from every corner of the globe to forge a nation with a unique identity worth embracing and celebrating. We don't pretend to be perfect, but Canada is the best country on earth. There's nowhere else that I and our 41 million strong family would rather be. And we will get through this challenge, just as we've done countless times before, together. Thank you. Merci. Vive le Canada.
All right, so we'll take 20 minutes of questions, 20 minutes de questions. One question, one follow-up, une question, un suivi. Merci.
Bonsoir, Monsieur le Premier ministre, Raymond Filion de TVA. Est-ce que vous avez parlé ou tenté de parler avec le président Trump aujourd'hui ou dans les derniers jours?
Ça fait depuis l'inauguration que j'essaie de rejoindre le président. J'espère pouvoir lui parler bientôt. It's been since the inauguration that I've been reaching out to speak with Donald Trump. I hope to speak with him sometime soon.
Dans son décret qu'il a signé aujourd'hui, M. Trump menace le Canada d'augmenter encore plus les tarifs s'il y a des mesures de rétorsion. Vous annoncez des mesures de rétorsion ce soir. Certains vont se demander, est-ce que c'est pas risqué? Est-ce que ça risque pas d'envenimer la situation?
On va toujours faire ce qui est nécessaire pour défendre les Canadiens, défendre nos intérêts. On est en train de répondre avec un ensemble de mesures fortes mais appropriées et on va continuer d'être là pour défendre le Canada, les Canadiens et notre avenir.
Bonsoir, M. Trudeau. Vous avez mentionné que vous envisagiez d'autres mesures qui ne sont pas reliées aux tarifs. Pouvez-vous élaborer?
C'est sûr qu'on a beaucoup d'initiatives en dehors des tarifs qu'on peut entreprendre en tant que pays. On est en train de parler avec les provinces et territoires sur certains éléments dans leur région, leur juridiction. On a aussi des mesures comme ce que les provinces sont en train d'annoncer, d'enlever l'alcool et les spiritueux et les vins américains de leur régie des alcools. Il y a des mesures au niveau de l'approvisionnement municipal, provincial et même fédéral où on peut moins acheter des Américains. Le choix des Canadiens d'acheter des produits canadiens, de choisir des biens et des services du Canada et non américains, ça fait tout partie de notre réponse collective.
Mais juste pour précision, est-ce qu'il est question peut-être de couper l'approvisionnement en énergie? Mais la deuxième question, c'était davantage sur le décret des Américains. Il n'est pas question là-dedans, il est question de la frontière, mais pas de la relation commerciale. Est-ce que c'est parce qu'il faut s'attendre à une deuxième vague de tarifs?
Tout d'abord, ce qui est important quand on va regarder différentes façons de répondre ou de mettre encore plus de pression sur les Américains pour reculer sur les mesures qui sont de l'avant, on va s'assurer qu'il n'y ait aucune région du pays, aucune industrie qui va porter un plus large fardeau, un plus lourd fardeau que d'autres régions. On sait qu'il y a certaines industries, dont l'industrie pétrolière, qui ont un grand impact aux États-Unis, mais on va s'assurer que toute réponse qu'on va faire va être équitable à travers le pays, parce qu'on ne veut pas que ce soit seulement une région ou une partie du pays qui paye le plus pour défendre tous les Canadiens. Et c'est quelque chose, un principe sur lequel tous les premiers ministres sont d'accord.
Est-ce qu'on peut s'attendre à une deuxième vague? C'était ça aussi la question.
Sur l'enjeu une deuxième vague, dans quel sens?
De tarifs, parce que dans le décret, il n'est pas question de la relation commerciale, il est juste...
Ah non, oui, tout à fait. Ces tarifs d'aujourd'hui sont ancrés dans la préoccupation du président sur le fentanyl. La réalité, c'est que le Canada représente une infime partie du défi au niveau du fentanyl auquel les Américains font face, et on est prêt à travailler avec eux pour régler cet enjeu dans nos communautés comme dans la leur. En même temps, il y a une enquête sur nos relations commerciales qui est en cours dans le système américain, qui va aboutir le 1er avril, et à ce moment-là, ils vont prendre d'autres décisions. In regards to actions we might take in terms of responding to the American trade action, there are a number of different industries and regions of the country that can have greater leverage over the United States. One thinks of the oil industry, for example. What is extremely important for me, and I think for all the premiers, is that no one region of the country or one industry carries a larger burden than anyone else in standing up for Canada. We need to all be in this together. This only works if Canadians are fully united from coast to coast to coast to stand up for this extraordinary and beautiful country. And that's why, as we look at different measures, including non-tariff measures that we might move forward on, we will not be moving forward on issues that further divide the country, which is why we're working with all premiers to look at different ways we can encourage the Americans to step back from these trade actions.
Bonjour, Christian Noël de Radio-Canada. Pour être clair sur cette question-là, les tarifs sur le gaz naturel et le pétrole ne sont que de 10 % alors que pour le reste, c'est de 25 %, notamment parce que les États-Unis ont besoin de notre pétrole. Ils ont besoin de plein d'autres choses dans notre secteur énergétique. À quel endroit est-ce que vous êtes prêt à couper le robinet?
Tout d'abord, soulignons que oui, les Américains ont besoin de notre gaz et notre pétrole, ils ont besoin de nos minéraux critiques, mais ils ont aussi besoin de nos pièces d'automobile, ils ont besoin de nos produits agricoles, ils ont besoin de notre ciment, ils ont besoin de notre bois d'œuvre. Il y a énormément de choses que le Canada produit, qu'on vend à des prix très, très bon marché ou bien responsables aux Américains sur lesquels ils dépendent pour leur bien-être économique. Des tarifs de 25 % sur tout ce que le Canada produit, ça va faire mal aux Américains, aux consommateurs américains, aux producteurs américains. On s'attend à avoir des défis énormes dans l'industrie automobile, par exemple, aux États-Unis, où des pièces et du travail canadien et mexicain sont des éléments essentiels de ce qu'ils font. Alors, on va être là pour regarder et encourager les Américains de revenir en arrière sur ces tarifs et on va utiliser toute la gamme d'outils qu'on a. Pour être très clair, on ne veut pas être dans cette situation. C'est le choix des Américains de nous mettre dans cette situation-là, mais puisqu'on est ici, on va répondre de façon responsable et forte pour défendre le Canada.
Dans un match de hockey ce soir à Ottawa, durant l'hymne national américain, il y a des Canadiens qui ont hué l'hymne national américain. Est-ce qu'ils ont raison d'être en colère et êtes-vous en colère?
On a une très longue histoire avec les Américains. On a un partenariat sans pareil, mais il y a toujours eu des moments de différends, des moments de tension entre nos deux pays. Et c'est des moments profondément sentis parce qu'on est si proches en tant que voisins et amis et famille. Et ça peut être pénible pendant qu'on passe à travers ces moments-là. Mais j'ai confiance. J'ai confiance dans les Canadiens, mais surtout, j'ai aussi confiance dans le peuple américain qui comprend à quel point leur lutte, leur grand défi dans le monde, c'est pas le Canada. Et qu'en travaillant ensemble, on va pouvoir passer à travers ces moments pénibles pour en sortir encore plus fort.
Est-ce qu'ils ont raison d'être en colère?
Je pense que les Canadiens ne comprennent pas tout à fait pourquoi les Américains sont en train de cibler leurs meilleurs amis et leurs plus proches partenaires plutôt que d'autres pays dans le monde.
En anglais?
I think Canadians are a little perplexed as to why our closest friends and neighbors are choosing to target us instead of so many other challenging parts of the world. I don't think there's a lot of Americans who wake up in the morning saying, oh, damn Canada. Oh, we should really go after Canada. We're there as friends, as partners. We always have been, we always will be. Sure, we're going through a difficult time right now, and yeah, emotions may run high here and there, particularly around hockey games. But I know we're going to make it through this because we have the most successful partnership the world has ever seen, and it's a true value in this time of really challenging geopolitical instability.
Jillian Piper with Global News. Prime Minister, will you recall Parliament to pass a bill to help Canadian workers and end prorogation?
As you can see from our strong response package, as we spoke about with premiers this afternoon, and have for many weeks. We have the tools to be able to support Canadians through this challenging time as it stands. This is a moment for Canadians to pull together, including Canadians of all different political parties. This is a moment where we need to set aside our differences and focus on delivering for Canadians, standing up for Canadians, and protecting the most successful political, military, economic, and security partnership the world has ever seen. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We have the tools to do it as a government right now, and we will keep doing it alongside our premiers and our partners.
A member of the Canada-U.S. Council, Lana Payne, today said that an ally would not act this way, and therefore the U.S. is no longer Canada's ally. Do you agree with that?
Like I said, I think there are going to be people who are upset and even hurt by what's gone on here. But I have faith. I have faith in Canadians, but I also have faith in the friendship between Canada and the United States that has gone through challenging times before, but we always make it through because we've been able to count on each other for over 150 years, and we will continue to be able to do that long into the future. This is a friendship that has stood the test of time, and despite challenges that we can work on and we will work on together, we will continue to be friends and neighbors.
Prime Minister, you said earlier that you're not going to move forward on measures that would further divide the country. Does this mean that blocking energy exports is fully off the table?
It means that any conversations around further measures, particularly involving one industry or one region of the country more than another, is something that we're going to do carefully and thoughtfully and with the full partnership of regional leaders, provincial premiers, businesses. No one part of the country should be carrying a heavier burden than any other. We're in this together. We're all going to stand together, and we'll be there for each other from coast to coast to coast.
And President Trump said in the executive order that it's about the border and fentanyl. Do you think that this is what it's about?
We have one of the strongest, more secure borders in the world between Canada and the United States. As I said, less than 1% of fentanyl going into the United States come from Canada. Less than 1% of illegal migrants going into the United States come from Canada. That doesn't mean there isn't more to do. And that's why we've invested $1.3 billion in strengthening our borders. And we're seeing over the past number of weeks, past couple of months, the numbers significantly decrease at the border already. We are making progress in working together, including sending joint teams over to China to talk about the precursor chemicals that get developed into fentanyl all across North America. There are things that we can and must do together, and I understand the preoccupation the American president has with fentanyl deaths. We share those preoccupations. We've seen far too many communities across our country devastated by toxic drug supplies, by fentanyl, by opioid addictions. We have taken action over the years, but we're happy to do even more with the United States to counteract this horrific tragedy. That's why we have committed to doing even more and working alongside. But this trade action against Canada is not the best way we can actually work together to save lives.
Good evening, Prime Minister. Stephanie Taylor with the National Post. What does it tell you about your relationship with President Trump that you've been trying to get a hold of him and he hasn't been speaking with you?
I think this is a time where we've all remarked on just how active President Trump has been in engaging with a wide range of topics in his first weeks in office. As you all know, I've had many good and substantive conversations with President Trump over the past months, where we've highlighted the work that we can do, our Ministers and officials have been engaging, in many cases like today, multiple times a day with their counterparts to talk through these issues, to move forward on areas of mutual concern. We will continue to engage, and I will continue to be there to work with President Trump as we've worked together in the past. We've worked together to solve some pretty challenging issues over the years. I look forward to doing that again. Je pense qu'on peut souligner à quel point le président est extrêmement actif avec beaucoup de différents enjeux sur sa table. Ça fait plusieurs mois que j'ai eu beaucoup de conversations avec lui sur les enjeux dont on est en train de discuter aujourd'hui. Il sait très bien mes positions et en même temps, les ministres sont extrêmement actifs à être engagés avec leur contrepartie américaine, y compris plusieurs fois chacun aujourd'hui, pour souligner le travail que nous pouvons faire. Alors, il faut se souvenir que moi et le président, nous avons réglé de grands enjeux dans le passé et je suis toujours prêt à le faire encore une fois.
But if you can't get a hold of President Trump on a day as consequential as this, when it really matters, can Canada have a productive relationship with President Trump and the Trump administration moving forward?
As I've said, we have had a very effective and constructive series of conversations throughout the American administration. We'll continue to. I look forward to speaking with President Trump in the coming days and weeks. This is something that matters, but we've solved big issues before, and we will solve them again.
Last question, dernière question, s'il vous plaît.
Thanks for taking our questions. Raisa Patel, the Toronto Star. When did you first learn that President Trump intends to increase tariffs if Canada retaliates, and how has that changed your strategy?
I think Canadians understand that we need to respond to this. We need to respond in a way that is appropriate, that is measured but forceful, and that meets the moment. We're certainly not looking to escalate, but we will stand up for Canada, for Canadians, for Canadian jobs. We will also continue to do more together with the United States to counteract the scourge that is fentanyl. We will continue to work on growing our economies together, on creating jobs and competing with the rise of non-market economies around the world. We can and will do things together, and that is my focus. My job is to stand up for Canadians. That's exactly what we're doing. But we're also standing up for the relationship between Canada and the United States, which, as I've said, is the most successful partnership and friendship the world has ever seen.
You're dealing with the U.S. administration that says, there's nothing that you can do to stop this. We're not looking for any concessions. So do you see any conceivable way out of this because of that?
The coming weeks will be difficult for Canadians, and they'll be difficult for Americans. The level of cooperation, the level of effective partnerships between our two countries that have been established over decades and generations means that this trade action by the Americans and our response is going to have real consequences for people, for workers on both sides of our border. We don't want to be here. We didn't ask for this. But we will not back down in standing up both for Canadians and for the incredible, successful relationship and partnership between Canada and the United States. I look forward to working with the American administration on a range of challenging issues that our communities and our world is facing. And I hope that day comes soon. Merci beaucoup.
All right, this concludes today's press conference. Ça conclut la conférence de presse aujourd'hui. Merci.
Merci tout le monde.